All right. So, as I've explained in some of my recent videos, I really no longer think that we've got another 10 years left in this bull market. Um, it looks to me like we have transitioned into the bubble phase of this bull market. You can see we've got the slingshot that typically precedes a bubble phase with the big crash back in February and March, and then just the rocket launch out of this. Um, a couple of things are a bit, well, I think they're going to be very worrisome in the future. Um, but as of right now, this looks to me like we're in a bubble phase. As I've said before, I think we're in the volatility zone, which is probably is occurring like halfway through this bubble. Bubbles tend to last about a year and a half from the bottom of the slingshot. So this started in March. The earliest we would probably expect a top would be March of 21. We are starting to see the retail public starting to come into this market. They've become convinced that the stocks only go up and that this is a way to get rich quick. So let me zoom in just a little bit here. All right. So as I said, I think this is like a midpoint consolidation, and once we break out of this, then I think we're gonna get the second leg up in this bull market. And if we assume that the top's going to come somewhere between a year and a half into the bubble phase, then we could potentially look for a top in March. So we shouldn't remain stuck in this volatility zone too much longer. We need to, at some point here, we need to get moving and then finish the bubble. And so my line in the sand that I'm watching is this 1200 on the Nasdaq, and tech is going to lead this bubble just like it did in 2000. We've had three attempts to break through that. One here in early September, another one in October. On the news of the vaccine, we made another attempt to break through, and then as of Tuesday and Wednesday, we're trying again. I'm not sure that this one is going to succeed either, simply because we're getting kind of late in this daily cycle and we're due for a half cycle low sometime soon. Now, half cycle lows are not 100%. If you get into a runaway move, then they can just disappear altogether. So this very well could be the breakout that holds, and we start the second phase of the bubble, which if we assume this is a halfway point, this is about almost 6,000 points. I would expect another 6,000 points, so maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 17,000 to 18,000 before this tops. So there's a chance that this is the breakout that's gonna hold, and we're off to the races, and we're starting the second phase of the bubble. But I'm not completely convinced that's the case just yet. As I said, we're getting into that timing band where we need to have a half cycle low. So maybe we'll know by Friday if we were to drop back below 1200, then I would say it's going to take one more pullback, catch our breath one more time, and then probably on the fifth attempt, I think we would go through it, and then it would be game on. All right, so here's what worries me. The final phase of a bubble is basically is completely divorced from fundamentals. It's just traders they make money by buying. They get rewarded for buying. So fundamentals kind of go out the window, and all people know is that, hey, if you buy whatever asset it is, whether it's stocks or Bitcoin or housing or whatever, if you're buying, you're making money. If you're selling, you're losing money. So um, I know we have done serious damage to the global economy, and we're seeing Europe starting to lock down again. And if the COVID cases continue to spike, and more importantly, if we start to see an increase in deaths here in the United States, then state governors are going to feel pressure to do something, even though nothing they do is going to stop the virus. But they're going to feel like that they've got to um, to appease public opinion. They've got to appear to be doing something. So we could again start to lock down the economy, which we already lost a lot of small businesses during the last lockdown. We do it again, we're going to lose a whole bunch more, and we're going to irreparably damage the global economy. That's going to have consequences for years, if not decades. And then we're going to make it worse. So when we had this crash, central banks everywhere started printing money. That's part of what is powering this incredible V-shaped move out of this slingshot. The other part is that we started to open up in the summer, so the fundamentals started to improve a little bit. Now we're getting into the period where price just completely divorces from any fundamentals, and it's purely driven by sentiment. As I said, it's just a matter of people that buy make money and people that sell don't. So people are becoming trained to just buy, and we're starting to see the dumb money, the retail traders that have no idea what they're doing are starting to come into this market. So assuming I'm correct, this bubble is going to finish and we're going to get a top somewhere around 18,000. The problem is that what happens to bubbles? They burst, and the housing bubble, when it burst, unleashed a terrible bear market and a terrible recession. When this bubble bursts, we're going to magnify. We're going to have inflation. We're going to have a lot more businesses go under. We've got governments all over the world are so massively in debt that there's no way they can ever pay it off. And we're accumulating more and more debt, trying to stimulate the economy as we come out of the recession from the global lockdown. And so when this bursts, it's going to send shockwaves across the world that are going to be felt for years and probably decades. And I think it's going to probably usher in a very dark period in human history for quite a number of years. So I think you need to be aware of what's happening. We're in a bubble. I want, at some point you have to control greed, be happy, take your profits. And then I think you have to be prepared for what's going to come after when this bubble pops. And I think I can say with a great deal of confidence that it is not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be pretty for many years and maybe for several decades.